In the shadowy expanse of the Central Asian steppes, a name resonates with both fear and fascination: Genghis Khan. You might be wondering, what propelled this man from the dusty plains of Mongolia to become one of history's greatest conquerors? How did he not only establish the vast Mongol Empire but also reshape the world in the 13th century, leaving an indelible mark on the cultures and countries he encountered? The answers lie in a tapestry woven with ambition, innovation, and a drive that transcended ordinary leadership. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, you'll uncover the secrets of Genghis Khan's extraordinary rise to power, understand the unique strategies he employed, and delve into the surprising legacy he left behind, a legacy that goes far beyond mere conquest and bloodshed. Let's set the stage. Born around 1162 as Temujin, Genghis Khan was thrust into a life of hardship when his father, a tribal leader, was poisoned by rival clans. Temujin was just a boy, but this pivotal moment ignited a fierce resolve in him, a determination to unite the Mongolian tribes under his banner. Imagine the landscape of his childhood: desolate mountains, endless horizons, and a harsh wilderness that demanded resilience. It's within this extreme environment that he honed not just survival skills but also the shrewd psychological tactics that would turn him into a masterful leader. What was it about Temujin that would set him apart from other leaders? It's often said that great leaders are born out of adversity, and for Temujin, the lesson was profound. A key turning point came when he was kidnapped by a rival tribe. But rather than surrender to despair, he escaped, using the very skills learned on the harsh steppes. This experience not only solidified his resolve but also taught him the power of loyalty, a concept he would later manipulate masterfully. Now, here's something you might not expect. While most conquerors relied heavily on brute force, Genghis Khan understood the value of alliance and diplomacy. As he gathered followers, he forged strategic alliances, even marrying into other tribes. He was a cunning strategist who recognized the strengths of others, utilizing them for his own gain. This was no simple warlord. He was a visionary who aimed to build an empire rooted in unity rather than division. As we transition into his methods of conquest, let's consider a compelling question: how did Genghis Khan manage to control a diverse empire without modern communication or transportation? You'll be shocked to learn that he utilized a sophisticated system of communication that was unprecedented for his time: the yam, a vast postal system that allowed for efficient relay of messages across the empire. Mounted couriers would race across the plains, ensuring that information, orders, and intelligence were shared swiftly. This network was vital, not only for military strategy but also for governance, allowing him to exert control over his rapidly expanding empire. But let's not overlook the sheer military genius behind Genghis Khan. His army was remarkably organized and disciplined, composed primarily of skilled horsemen adept at maneuvering in the rugged terrains of Asia. These soldiers were not just warriors, they were experts in stealth and deception, employing tactics that often left their enemies bewildered and unprepared. Imagine facing an enemy that vanished and reappeared with swift precision, striking like the wind, only to retreat before re-engaging. What strategies did Genghis Khan employ to ensure such effectiveness? One significant surprise in Genghis Khan's military tactics was his ability to adapt and learn from his enemies. Upon conquering a region, he didn't simply dismantle their structures; instead, he absorbed their expertise. For instance, after meeting the Chinese, he admired their engineering and administrative skills. He brought skilled artisans and craftsmen into his empire, enhancing not just the military but also the civil infrastructure. Yet, in every empire, there are thresholds, moments that test a leader's ambitions. Picture this: Genghis Khan's forces were now expanding westward, crossing into the vast territories of Persia and beyond. His encounters against well-established states like the Khwarezmian Empire would mark defining moments in his reign. After initial diplomatic attempts failed and a trade delegation was murdered, Genghis Khan did not hold back. This leads to another striking revelation: Genghis Khan's response to betrayal was legendary not just for its ferocity but for its strategic brilliance. He launched a campaign that was both swift and brutal, demonstrating not just military might but also an understanding of psychological warfare. This wasn't merely revenge, it was a lesson to the world. By annihilating the Khwarezmian forces and laying waste to cities, he sent a clear message: crossing him would not only be fatal but would instill terror that would last generations. But were these actions purely savage, or was there a deeper reasoning? Historians often debate the morality of Genghis Khan's campaigns. While his methods were undeniably brutal, they also served a pragmatic purpose: to ensure long-term stability and unity under his rule. Could it be that such ruthlessness was born out of a vision for a more organized society down the line? As we move deeper into the legacy of the Mongol Empire, it's crucial to recognize how Genghis Khan's approach influenced the structure of the world we know today. He implemented a meritocratic system, breaking away from the pre-existing norms of aristocracy. This was revolutionary. Leaders were chosen based on talent and loyalty rather than birthright, allowing for a diverse administration that included individuals from various backgrounds. You might be surprised to learn that Genghis Khan's reign was also marked by a surprising level of protection for commerce and trade. While many of his contemporaries imposed heavy taxes and restrictions on trade routes, he understood that a thriving economy would benefit his empire. By establishing the Pax Mongolica, a period of peace across the Silk Roads, he created an environment where trade flourished. Goods, ideas, and cultures flowed freely between East and West, laying the groundwork for a global exchange that would flourish for centuries. Imagine the bustling markets where merchants from distant lands gathered, exchanging not only silk and spices but ideas and inventions that would ultimately transcend borders. This exchange would go on to influence art, science, and culture worldwide, creating a legacy that extends to modern times. Isn't it fascinating to think about how a leader known for his brutality also became a catalyst for historical exchange and global connections? Now, let's pause here, taking a moment to reflect on Genghis Khan's complex identity. Was he merely a conqueror, or could he also be seen as a unifier who paved the way for globalization? As we delve deeper into his life and the lasting implications of his empire, the lines between hero and tyrant blur. How did his death mark the turning point for the implosion of his grand empire? The next chapter will take us through the Mongol Empire's expansion under his heirs, exploring how the very foundations he laid influenced modern nations and offering insights that will challenge what you think you know about this fascinating era. Prepare to be intrigued as we expose the ongoing saga of the Mongol Empire, a legacy that continues to resonate through the centuries. Join me in the second part of this unfolding story. As we transition into the aftermath of Genghis Khan's reign, an era was set in motion that would resonate through the ages. When Genghis Khan passed away in 1227, the sprawling Mongol Empire was left in the capable hands of his sons and grandsons. His death not only marked a significant turning point in history but also raised questions about the sustainability of his incredible legacy. Who amongst them would rise to share in his vision, and how would they handle the vast territories he had carved from the fabric of a divided world? The answer lay predominantly in the figures of Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, and various other successors who played pivotal roles in expanding the empire further into Asia and beyond. Kublai Khan, in particular, would go on to become the Great Khan and play a central role in the establishment of the Yuan dynasty in China. What might surprise you is that Kublai didn't merely continue the brutal legacy of conquest, he also embraced the cultures and traditions of the regions he ruled. He adopted many aspects of Chinese governance, promoting an era of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Mongolica, which mirrored some of his grandfather's foundational principles. Now imagine this vast empire, wherein communication systems continued to evolve, facilitating an efficient administration across territories stretching from Europe to East Asia. The integration of diverse cultures, notably through a flourishing trade network, marked a new chapter for the Mongol Empire. Merchants, scholars, and artisans traveled freely along caravan routes, melding ideas and technologies as they bridged the East with the West. Imagine a bustling bazaar where goods from Persia, the Middle East, and China converged, each transaction a testament to a more interconnected world. Perhaps what stands out the most is the role of the Silk Road during this period. Genghis Khan may have established the framework, but it was under the continued administration of his descendants that trade flourished like never before. The Mongols organized protection for merchants and ensured the routes were safe for travel, leading to a significant uptick in cultural exchanges and commerce. The spices of India mingled with the silks of China, as innovative ideas in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine spread freely. It's remarkable to think that an empire born of conquest would become a conduit for some of history's greatest cultural exchanges. But not everything was without conflict. The ambitious nature of empire building inevitably faced numerous challenges. The vastness of Mongol territories meant diverse and oftentimes fractious populations. While Kublai Khan successfully integrated many local customs into his governance to maintain peace, other parts of the empire were not so lucky. Various factions, including remnants of the Khwarezmian opposition and local tribes, created strife that tested the very foundations Genghis Khan had established. Another significant figure during this transitional period was Bata Khan, another grandson of Genghis Khan, who led the Golden Horde into Europe. As he advanced into Russia and beyond, the ferocity of the Mongol war machine was on full display once more. The devastation of cities such as Kiev illustrates that even in this period of relative prosperity, the shadow of Genghis Khan's warlike nature loomed large. But unlike his grandfather, Bata's campaigns faced a fragmented Europe that was still reeling from its own internal conflicts. The legendary victories of the Mongols during this phase would sow both fear and the will to unify among European states. As we delve deeper, it's worth pondering the question, how did Genghis Khan's administrative systems contribute to the method of governance employed by subsequent Khans? His legacy encompassed not just military might but an innovative approach to law and bureaucracy, the Yasa, a code of law that governed the conduct of his empire. It emphasized loyalty, discipline, and respect for meritocracy, principles that continued to resonate within the Mongol administration long after his death. Leaders were chosen based on skill rather than lineage, enabling the best qualified individuals to assume pivotal roles, whether in the military or civil sectors. As the empire expanded, so did the complexity of governance. Administrators skilled in various fields became invaluable for maintaining the vast empire. This merit-based approach led to the recruitment of individuals from subjugated cultures. In essence, Genghis Khan's vision extended beyond mere conquest. It involved crafting a robust infrastructure that would outlast his leadership, ensuring a system of governance reflective of the empire's diversity. However, as with any great empire, the seeds of decline were sown. Toward the end of the 13th century, fractures began to emerge within the Mongol domain. The empire had grown incredibly large, and the challenges of managing such a vast swath of land became evident. The internal divisions among Genghis Khan's descendants, stemming from cultural differences, aspirations for independence, and disputes over leadership, led to fragmentation. These divisions would eventually contribute to the decline of the empire, presenting a stark reminder of the challenges of sustaining a sprawling empire built on conquest. While the Mongol Grand Empire fragmented, the influence of Genghis Khan's leadership principles persisted. The concepts of meritocracy and cultural richness found their way into the various successor states that emerged. Russia, the Persian territories, and even China would feel the lasting effects of their governance practices long after the Mongols had retreated. Each of these regions experienced profound shifts in political structures and trade practices that they adopted and adapted, reflecting the enduring legacy of the Mongol Empire. It is crucial to address another aspect, the myths and misconceptions surrounding Genghis Khan and his empire. Often portrayed as the archetype of ruthless barbarism, the reality is far more nuanced. While the conquests were undeniably brutal, the innovations in governance and trade established during his reign denote a far-reaching impact on civilization that many overlook. The famous traveler Marco Polo, who journeyed through the Mongol lands, highlighted a sophisticated civilization characterized by art, culture, and infrastructure. Even in modern times, Genghis Khan's image is divisive. In Mongolia, he is revered as a national hero, whereas in parts of Europe and the Middle East, he is often remembered for the destruction his incursions brought. This duality reflects the complexities of historical interpretation, showing how powerful legacies can evoke conflicting sentiments across cultures and centuries. Now, let's draw our attention to the enduring legacy Genghis Khan left for the modern world. The idea of meritocracy, once considered radical in its time, would later influence various forms of governance and help shape the political landscape in emergent societies. Concepts such as religious tolerance, economic integration, and cultural exchange, principles demonstrated by Genghis Khan and his successors, formed the foundations of many contemporary global interactions. Additionally, one cannot ignore the impact of the vast networks established under the Mongols that eventually set the stage for the age of exploration. The stability and communication brought about during Pax Mongolica would allow European explorers to embark on their voyages, leading to the subsequent discoveries that reshaped world history. In conclusion, as we reflect on the life and legacy of Genghis Khan, it's clear that he was an extraordinary figure who transcended the archetype of a mere conqueror. He envisioned and structured an interconnected world, recognizing that unity and cooperation among diverse cultures could yield implications far beyond what was thought possible. His realm, though born from conquest, blossomed into an era of cultural exchange, scientific advancements, and economic prosperity. The Mongolian Empire's legacy, complex and multifaceted, serves as a testament to humanity's capacity for both destruction and creativity. Genghis Khan's influence endures in today's political systems, global connectivity, and cultural landscapes, proving that empires arise not just from the sword but also from innovation, resilience, and an oftentimes unexpected vision for the future. As history teaches us, the stories we tell are as important as the lives lived, reminding us to examine and learn from the complexities of our past as we navigate the future.